This is a 3.69 ounce, troy ounce, piece of Lambina opal that I received 3 or 4 years ago. I wanted it because it's so large, and I wasn't too far removed from my arrowhead making phase, and something like this could produce some pretty nice arrowheads. Basically, we've got a nice white to semi-crystal opal band here. We've got this almost patchy band there, and it's best seen from this side. Well, maybe not. It's sort of a little bit more crystal. And what I mean, white opal has a white background. It's basically not transparent. Crystal opal has a clear background. Semi-crystal has a somewhat clear background, and potch is white. You can have white opal with fairly good color. In other words, the background is cloudier and not as transparent, but that's what I mean when crystal opal. I would grade this sort of as a white to semi-crystal. I think semi-crystal is all right. Same with this. This band here would have to be white opal, lower grade, and this looks like it's entirely potch. So this thing is pretty large. It's 95 by 35 by between about 23 and 18 millimeters thick. Translated, that's 3 7/8 inches long, 1 1/3 inches wide, and 3/4 to almost an inch thick. What I'm going to do with this today is I'm going to grind off some of the material that obviously is not usable. I consider the possibility that I could merely just take slices off of this, just going all the way down, and have this relatively large area where I could get some fairly large stones from it, but that may or may not be the best way to do it. So I think that if we take off some of the definite potch and this, well, it's a remnant of the matrix surrounding this seam opal. It's called seam opal because it forms in a seam between rocks, and that's what I'm going to do. And when I'm finished, I guess I'll take a poll, get some opinions as to what you think I should do with it. I certainly don't want to waste opal, so I'll get some opinions, and when I get down into this, at least somewhat, I'm going to give some pieces of this away. So let's get started. I'm going to turn on the wheel. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little area of potch off. I don't know how deep it is. It's fairly thick here, but it looks like it just sort of fades away. So this is my 100 mesh wheel, a sintered wheel, which means it has diamonds throughout the metal on the outer approximately 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch. This is I only use this coarse wheel on larger pieces of opal. If you use them on smaller pieces of opal, it can get pretty rough with it, and I've had a number of them, smaller pieces, break. So, but I think this big wheel, it'll be fine. Thinner. when I get to color, I'm going to stop. I've taken it down to just about almost all of that potch off the top. I'm going to go a little bit more and get right to the color on the top, at least at the edge, and then I'll reevaluate. This is pure potch. I don't see any color in it. I mean, as a basic rule, just don't cut anything, because Opal sells by its weight, carat weight for cut stones, and the more you grind away, the less valuable the cut opal will be. I could leave this with a thin layer of potch and then approach it from the other side and make the top of the stones here, and potch is perfectly fine for the back of a stone. Sand or matrix is also okay for that. I personally do waste opal because I really want to see where the opal is going, and not just hope that it'll be where I hope it'll be. I like to try to at least remove some of the outer part, just to be sure that I'm not in an area, and to be sure that I'm not cutting too deeply. So it's a matter of philosophy. You can consider whether it's better to just leave it. Some people would want to leave this as a specimen, put it in a museum. This is not worthy of being in a museum. It's just not good enough opal. So there's a little semi-lecture. My approach is to remove potchy areas, at least till I can start to see color. That will lose me some carat weight in cutting it, but in order to get the best possible stones, I'm willing to waste maybe it's probably 2 to 7% of a given stone, just to know where I should be cutting, and not make random cuts. I don't like to make random cuts, and so that's why I have to waste a little of the potch that could serve as the back of a cut stone. I've removed all of the sandstone on this, and I've ground down all of the sides so that at this point I feel that I can get a true representative feel for the way the color bars are, the way the color lays out in the stone, and just an overall better way to evaluate it. What I've done is I've gone down and I actually took this to polish. I polished all of the sides. This is not wet. It's not a great polish. It's not a finished polish, but it's down to 14,000 mesh, which is pretty good. Cerium oxide would put the final touch on it. But anyway, so let's take a look. So this is the final specimen. I've gotten down to it. The color bars, and you can see the color bars, the length of the thing. I think it's really easy to evaluate when you get it down this way. There may be some waste, but I think it's worth it. Now, about the giveaway. I'm going to give a piece of this opal, rather identical opal from this parcel, same parcel as this, to somebody 5 days after this is posted. all you have to do is make a comment. Maybe you can choose a suggestion on how I should cut it, and I've got a few coming up here. You can make a suggestion, and I'm going to give away a piece of identical opal. Once I do cut this, however, I'll have a video and I'll give away more than one piece, probably on the order of 5 pieces, maybe more. But for now, make your comments. I think you might need to subscribe for the search evaluation engine. I don't think so. Just make a comment and we'll select. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.